The health department should still investigate that matter and then fine them appropriately for what they have done. They were, for approximately 2 weeks, selling food when they were unauthorized to do so.
Recently, the media reported a mother in Ohio who discovered a strange odor coming from a piece of meat she bought at a local supermarket. A few days later, that branch was shut down. Yet, the same grocery chain continued selling meat in other states, and this raised a pressing question. Why isn't a brand with a record of food safety violations banned nationwide? In the U.S., there have been stores caught selling spoiled meat, seriously violating storage regulations, even facing lawsuits for mass food poisoning incidents. But instead of a system-wide shutdown, many brands simply suspend operations in one location and carry on elsewhere, as if nothing ever happened. So, which chains are involved? Why are they still allowed to operate despite multiple scandals? And what secrets are being hidden from the public? Let's take a closer look. Ijuan Food Depot, banned from selling meat for a reason no one expected. A routine inspection at a Food Depot store on North Pulaski triggered an unexpected reaction. Within 48 hours, the entire meat section was shut down. No press release, no clear explanation to customers, just a hastily taped sign at the door that read, "Temporarily closed for system maintenance." Inside, staff were dismantling refrigerators and removing meat display trays. But what really happened behind those doors? Why did a busy supermarket suddenly lose the right to sell one of its core products without the public knowing the full story? And more importantly, was this an isolated incident, or a warning sign of deeper issues festering within Food Depot's national operations? According to an official report from the Illinois Department of Public Health, published on a government website, Food Depot appeared on a list of suspended businesses with the note, "Severe violations. Failure to meet basic hygiene standards in raw meat handling areas." The 17-page document included on-site photos and footage from internal security cameras. Some of these images later surfaced in consumer forums. Greasy floors, unsanitized blades, and a worker wrapping raw meat with bare hands. Meanwhile, 250 miles away, another Food Depot branch was operating as usual. Fully stocked meat counters boasted everyday low prices. With no warning signs or mentions of past violations, employees cheerfully offered samples of freshly ground meat, while families, mostly from working-class backgrounds, continued filling their carts like any other week. No notice posted, no corporate email, unless you actively follow food safety news or dig through obscure pages on a state health website. You'd never know that another store under the same brand had just lost its meat distribution license days earlier. A 2022 report from Consumer Safety Watch confirmed that in the U.S., stores suspended from selling meat in one state aren't required to notify customers or branches in other locations, unless there's a federal mandate. Which means, while one community is being warned to avoid the meat aisle, people in another city may be buying the same products, completely unaware. A former Food Depot supervisor, speaking anonymously, shared, "At one point, we were given only 2 pairs of gloves per shift and had to wash and reuse them. A broken freezer thermometer went unfixed for a week. Only when inspectors gave 24-hour notice did technicians show up." When asked whether quality control procedures were standardized across all stores, the supervisor shook their head. Each branch does its own thing. Some are strict, others aren't. As long as sales targets are met, no one really cares if we're sanitizing properly. In May that same year, a group of customers in Joliet filed a class action complaint after several family members showed symptoms of food poisoning allegedly linked to meat bought from Food Depot. But with no solid traceability, the case stalled. No recalls were issued. No public health alert followed. The incident faded away, like so many others, with no names, no viral images, and no last straw to ignite public outrage. Food safety experts note that it's common for brands to operate under the same name across multiple states, but follow different standards depending on local oversight. This raises the question: does punishing one location reflect systemic failure, or is it just the tip of the iceberg? In a closed-door hearing in 2021, an Illinois Sanitation Standards Board official quoted a Food Depot executive saying, "We cannot control the behavior of every single employee in every single branch." Was that a justification or a confession? Meanwhile, some loyal shoppers have started sharing personal tips on how to inspect meat before buying, sniff tests, checking texture, even asking to swap batches. Others, especially seniors or people with chronic illnesses, are switching to smaller shops where they know who's cutting and wrapping the meat. And still, Food Depot's official website continues to promote its Family Summer Savings Program under the slogan, "Safety from the first step." So, what's really happening behind the scenes? Is this an isolated mistake or a structural failure? When one store loses its license but others keep selling the same products, are consumers truly protected? Perhaps it will take more than a simple system maintenance sign to regain the trust of those who once believed in the bright red logo and carefully wrapped trays of meat. And if you think Food Depot is an exception, just look at Walmart. Not one, but dozens of Walmart stores across the U.S. have quietly shut their doors in recent months. 2. Inside Walmart's sudden store closures, what's really going on? At a Walmart neighborhood market in Los Angeles, once seen as a go-to spot for daily grocery runs, recent scenes and stories are stirring growing unease among shoppers. At one branch on Vermont Avenue, a quiet line of customers stood outside while food safety inspectors exited the store with sealed containers. No one said much. A small sign at the entrance read, "Temporarily closed for internal inspection." Carmen Ruiz, a mother of 3 who lives nearby, shared that she had bought beef there just days earlier and noticed a strange smell when she opened the package. "I wasn't sure if it was my fridge or the meat itself, but now that I see the store closed like this, I'm starting to wonder." According to a city inspection source, at least 3 Walmart neighborhood market locations in Los Angeles were recently ordered to suspend the sale of fresh food, particularly meat, over a 2-week span. While no official reason has been released, leaked inspection reports suggest that meat storage units at several stores failed to maintain the required cold temperatures, posing serious microbiological risks per safety regulations. Raw meat must be kept below 40 °C. However, during surprise inspections, meat fridges at one location were recorded at 48 °C. No alert was triggered by internal systems. No staff noticed. Meat continued to be displayed, packaged, and sold, just like any other day. One viral photo on social media showed a tray of pale-looking chicken from a Florence Avenue branch. The caption read, "I only smelled something weird after cooking it, and in hindsight, the chicken skin looked off from the moment I bought it." There's no official conclusion linking improper storage to consumer health issues yet, but the county health department has confirmed 3 recent hospitalizations for food poisoning in the same area. All 3 patients had purchased meat from Walmart Neighborhood Market within 72 hours before showing symptoms. Walmart has issued no public statement about the incidents. When questioned by a local news outlet, a company spokesperson said briefly, "We're working closely with authorities to ensure food safety standards are upheld." Still, that silence hasn't eased public anxiety. On a Westlake community forum, one user posted, "I always trusted Walmart because I assumed they had strict protocols. But now, every time I walk by the meat section, I have to smell it again before I buy." Many are now asking, was this a one-off error or a sign that something's broken in the system? When temperature sensors don't catch problems, and when staff don't notice physical changes in the product, What does that say about internal operations? A former retail manager, speaking anonymously, said, "In big stores, fridges running a few degrees off happens all the time. The issue is, when speed and profit come first, if no alarm goes off, staff are very likely to overlook it. This isn't new. 3 years ago, in another California city, a store in the same chain was temporarily banned from selling meat after inspectors discovered a faulty freezer had gone unreported while sales continued. A warehouse worker later revealed that he had filed multiple internal reports, but never received a response. So the question remains, are food safety systems in massive retail chains truly sensitive enough to catch these lapses? Or are they just trusting machines never make mistakes? A food industry analyst commented, "We can't definitively say Walmart meat caused those poisonings. But when multiple stores shut down quietly for the same reason, while hospitalizations rise in the same time and area, you start connecting the dots. There's no requirement for Walmart to publicly list which branches had issues. Consumers often find out only after a store suddenly stops selling meat, or through social media leaks. Meanwhile, stores stay open, shelves stay stocked, and thousands of customers keep shopping daily." A single mother in South Central said, "I don't have many options. Walmart is closest and cheapest, but if they can't even store meat properly anymore, I don't know what to trust." When trust is shaken, the issue is no longer about price or convenience. For many, the safety of a daily meal has become an unanswered question, with no easy answers. Will Walmart revise its operations? Or is this just the tip of a much larger iceberg? In a maze of conflicting information and limited options, where can consumers turn for a meal they can trust? Walmart may be the biggest name, but it's not alone in the spotlight. On the cheaper end of the spectrum, another chain, Save a Lot, was once suspended for selling spoiled meat at an Ohio location. Yet somehow, hundreds of its other branches remain open, untouched by inspections or follow-up investigations. 3. Save a Lot was once suspended for rotten meat. So why weren't hundreds of other stores inspected? With over 800 locations across the U.S., Save a Lot is one of the most popular discount supermarket chains in working and lower-class neighborhoods. Its business model, centered on cheap, compact, and maximum savings, has attracted a loyal customer base, especially in areas where access to fresh, high-quality food is already a challenge. However, this no-frills approach also raises questions about how well food quality is actually monitored. At a Save a Lot store in Dayton, Ohio, customers previously reported issues with loosely sealed meat packages, trays lacking clear packaging dates, and discolored products still being put on display. One shopper, Carla G., shared on Facebook that she had bought a cheap tray of ground beef, but just hours after opening it, a foul odor and slimy liquid forced her to throw the entire thing away. "I don't know if the fault lies with the store or the supplier," she wrote, but clearly, no one checked that batch properly. Some defenders of the chain argue that Save a Lot shouldn't be fully blamed, because the brand operates on a franchise model. Each store may be independently owned and managed, so the quality can vary significantly between locations. It's the store manager's fault. A Reddit commenter wrote, "You can't judge all of Save a Lot based on one Ohio store." But others counter that operating under a single brand name means consumers place their trust in that logo, and that trust should come with minimum safety standards. If quality control is fragmented due to franchising, how many other stores could be having similar issues without being detected? According to an analysis by Food and Water Watch, discount chains face higher food safety risks due to pressure to cut operating costs, from staffing to cold storage systems. Their 2022 report noted that among supermarkets fined for selling spoiled meat, most operated in the discount sector, Save-A-Lot had a 1.8x higher complaint rate related to meat compared to the industry average, even though not all complaints resulted in legal penalties. In this context, the Ohio incident becomes more than just an isolated event. It highlights a larger dilemma. How do you balance low prices with food safety? Is it possible to maintain a low-cost-for-everyone grocery model while ensuring top-tier hygiene and storage standards? And who's responsible when a package of meat that looks fine on the shelf ends up causing serious harm in someone's kitchen? Some experts say the core issue lies in a lack of investment in independent inspections at the store level. You might save 20% on meat, one food safety expert told Consumer Reports. But the price you pay could be a week in the hospital if bacteria goes unchecked. Meanwhile, loyal Save-A-Lot shoppers are left asking, if not here, where else can I afford to buy? That question reflects a harsh reality in today's economy. Not everyone has the luxury of choice. For many families, especially in rural areas and underserved neighborhoods, Save-A-Lot may be the only option. The dilemma is no longer to buy or not. It's how much risk you're willing to accept. This raises a broader question for the industry. Can budget retailers truly keep prices low without compromising quality, especially for perishable items like meat? When one branch is shut down for selling spoiled meat, but hundreds of others stay open, is that a sign of quick, effective response or of inconsistent oversight? The answer won't be found in a report. It lives in the lived experiences of everyday shoppers. Because when it comes to food, trust is never written on a receipt, and sometimes, one bad experience is enough to never come back. And while Save-A-Lot may push the boundaries between cheap and risky, the next chain raises an even deeper question. What happens when trust turns into legal consequences? 4. Piggly Wiggly, the Southern chain. Once sued over a widespread food poisoning outbreak, according to 2020 court records from the state of Mississippi. At least 3 class action lawsuits were filed alleging food poisoning linked to meat or processed food sold at several Piggly Wiggly locations. In one case, covered by local media, the plaintiffs claimed the food had a foul odor immediately upon opening the package and was not handled at proper cold temperatures. Despite this, Piggly Wiggly still operates over 530 stores across the American South, primarily in states like Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, and South Carolina. With over a century of history and the distinction of being the first self-service grocery store in the U.S., the brand maintains strong loyalty, particularly among older customers or those in small towns without access to major supermarket chains. So, how does a chain with a record of food safety lawsuits still operate so widely without being banned or forced to shut down? The answer lies in its decentralized management structure. Like many other retailers, Piggly Wiggly uses a franchise model, meaning each store is an independent legal entity. Franchise owners manage their own operations, including meat sourcing, refrigeration systems, and sanitation protocols. If a problem occurs at one location, only that store, not the entire chain, is held legally responsible. Some view this as a legal loophole, allowing big brands to expand without being directly accountable when one branch violates safety standards. Others argue it's unfair to judge the entire chain based on a few isolated incidents, especially when management practices vary drastically from store to store. In truth, most customers don't understand how franchise models work. They just see the familiar Piggly Wiggly sign, walk in, buy meat or groceries, and assume the same safety standards apply everywhere. That's why a single report of spoiled meat or expired goods can quickly spiral into widespread rumors about the entire brand. It's important to note that Piggly Wiggly tends to operate in communities with limited alternatives, especially rural towns where there's no Walmart, Kroger, or other national chain. In these areas, Trust isn't built through marketing. It's built through habit and generational memory. As one shopper from Laurel, Mississippi told a local news station, "We've been buying here since my parents were alive. A few mistakes won't stop me from trusting this store." But that kind of loyalty raises another question. Are longtime shoppers more vulnerable because of their habits? When trust is built on the past, not current data, people may overlook warning signs like torn packaging, unclear sourcing, or improperly stored meat. A 2022 report by Public Health Watch noted that most serious food poisoning incidents in the RC don't happen at high-end restaurants or major chains. They happen at small local stores, where inspection standards are looser and staff often lack formal training. The franchise model, the report concluded, is a double-edged sword, great for rapid expansion, but a nightmare for consistent oversight. In the end, consumers are left as the final inspectors. Do you check the date on that meat tray before tossing it into your cart? Do you smell it? Look at the color. Inspect the packaging. And most importantly, would you question a store you've trusted for 20 years if something didn't feel right? 5. Is Fiesta Mart truly safe? A food safety incident in Houston raises alarming questions. According to a 2021 inspection report from the Houston Health Department, a Fiesta Mart store in South Wayside was ordered to suspend the sale of raw meat after tested samples revealed serious violations in storage and sanitation. On-site observations showed that meat was not being kept at safe temperatures. Food prep areas were not properly cleaned, and some refrigeration units were non-functional. The suspension was issued on the spot that same day. But just a few weeks later, Fiesta Mart resumed operations, not only in Houston, but also expanding its fresh food offerings in cities like Dallas, Arlington, and Austin. This sparked growing debate about inconsistencies in quality control procedures across locations, especially since Fiesta Mart caters to multicultural communities, including large Latin, Asian, and immigrant populations in Texas, according to public records. Fiesta Mart currently operates over 60 stores across the state, primarily in major metropolitan areas, known for its slogan, "International Foods for Every Home." The chain offers meats, produce, and spices often not found in national retailers like Walmart or Kroger. That's exactly why many culturally specific households choose Fiesta Mart as their go-to grocery store. However, the chain's focus on fresh, in-store processed products tailored to a wide range of cultural needs also brings added risks. Meat is delivered multiple times a day from small-scale distributors, creating constant pressure on cold storage systems and sanitation routines at each location. A former employee from a Dallas branch, who requested anonymity, revealed that during peak hours, there weren't enough staff to properly clean the prep area. We just wiped things down quickly without disinfecting. Between 2020 and 2022, data from the Houston Health Department showed that Fiesta Mart ranked among the top 5 supermarket chains with the most sanitation violations related to meat in Harris County. The most common issues included storage temperatures above safety standards, improperly sanitized tools, and staff failing to wear required protective gear. Still, it's important to note a suspension of one product category, like raw meat, doesn't mean the entire store must shut down, like many chains. Fiesta Mart operates under segmented licenses, allowing it to continue selling canned goods, packaged items, and non-perishables while addressing issues in its meat department. Some argue that local authorities should increase the frequency of surprise inspections at supermarkets that serve immigrant communities, where protocols might not be as standardized as in larger national chains. Others point out that Fiesta Mart provides affordable essentials for low-income families, helping to offset the impact of rising food inflation. This raises a crucial question. Is the current food safety inspection system capable of keeping up with rapidly expanding regional brands? And if one store that violated meat safety standards can continue operating elsewhere with no warning to the public? Where do we draw the line between an isolated incident and a systemic failure? For consumers, the answer often comes from personal experience. If trust in a brand is broken by a single tray of discolored or foul-smelling meat, winning that trust back is no easy task. Even though Fiesta Mart has taken steps to improve, like installing automated temperature monitoring systems and retraining staff, the damage from a single oversight can leave a lasting crack in consumer confidence. From supermarkets temporarily banned from selling meat to chains that continue operating after health violations, it's clear that America's meat quality problem isn't confined to one store or one brand. It reflects a larger issue involving oversight systems, enforcement consistency, and how operational models differ from one chain to another. Some experts argue that these incidents highlight how low-cost food retailers are sacrificing oversight to keep prices down. Others say it's unfair to judge an entire brand based on a handful of mistakes, which could easily be outliers. Caught between these two sides are the consumers, people forced to make daily choices between price, reliability, and personal risk management. So, what's the real solution? Can we truly balance affordability and quality, convenience and safety? And more importantly, who should be held responsible when consumer trust is eroded one suspicious-looking meat tray at a time? This isn't just a story about one store or one brand. This is a question about an entire food distribution system, where each of us is a critical link in the chain. All the content we've presented is for informational and analytical purposes only. It does not represent absolute fact. What do you think about these grocery chains? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss one of our investigations.